Hello and welcome back to Curious Pri. This is where we explore the hidden stories, the untold meanings, and the deeper wisdom from our history and epics and traditions and bring them alive for you. If you are new here, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss out on these journeys into the heart of Sanatana Dharma. Today's story is one about the most powerful hymns in our Sanatana Dharma or Hinduism, the Vishnu Sahasranama, which is essentially 1,000 names of Lord Vishnu. And what makes it special is not that it is just a hymn, but really how it was passed on and it came to us from the lips of Bhishma lying on his bed of arrows. The Vishnu Sahasranama is part of our grand epic called the Mahabharata. Now, think about how many Vedas do we have, right? The common answer is usually 4: Rig, Yajur, Sama, and Atharva. But here's the twist. Our acharyas believe that the number of Vedas can change depending on how you count them. So the answer really keeps changing. If you divide the Vedas into prose and poetry, you could say there are 2, essentially Rig and Yajur, as Sama is similar to Rig in its poetic form. If you count them as individual Vedas, then you have Rig, Yajur, and Sama, so you get 3 Vedas. So what about the Atharva Veda, right? Now, in earlier times, it wasn't considered as a separate one because most of it is really a compilation or drawings from the other 3 Vedas. So you have the Rig, Yajur, and Sama, and then Atharva Veda, which has compilations from all the 3 of them. But over time, scholars have recognized it as having its own unique place with hymns on healing, household rites, and the more mystical aspects of life. And so today we have them as 4 Vedas, so Rig, Yajur, Sama, and Atharva Veda. Now, so yes, there are 4 Vedas, but Vyasa, who was the composer of Mahabharata, had a different issue or problem to face. He realized something. All of this wisdom that was hidden in the Vedas and mantras locked away in ritual, and the ordinary person could not normally access it. So he composed something new, the Mahabharata, a story that carries the truth of the Vedas into the lives of our people. And that is why the Mahabharata is also called the 5th Veda. Now, what's interesting is within the great epic of Mahabharata, there are actually 5 shining jewels. The first is the Viduraniti, which is Vidura's counsel to the Dhritarashtra, his wisdom in politics and ethics. Second is the Sanat Sujatyam, which is the conversation, the Sanat Kumara speaking of the soul and liberation. Third is the Yaksha Prashna, which is Yudhishthira answering 124 riddles of Dharma at a forest lake. Let me know if you want a separate episode on that one. Fourth is the Bhagavad Gita, which is Krishna's immortal words to Arjuna. And the 5th is the Vishnu Sahasranama, which is revealed by Bhishma on his deathbed. So, why Bhishma? What was so special about him? Bhishma was born as Devavrata, the son of Ganga. He was unmatched in learning and skill. He took a terrible vow of celibacy so that his father could marry again. A vow that so fearsome that the gods themselves named him Bhishma, the one of the terrible oath. He was the commander who could not be defeated, blessed with the boon of choosing the moment of his own death. He was the grandsire of both the Pandavas and the Kauravas, respected equally by friends and foes. His greatness was beyond doubt. A man of truth, a man of vows, and a man who carried the burden of the entire Kuru dynasty on his shoulders. And yet, Bhishma also carried one great guilt. For all his wisdom and power, he stood silent in the Kuru court when Draupadi, wife of the Pandavas, was humiliated. That silence was one of his only failings. And so when Krishna willed that as long as Bhishma's soul remained bound in his body, he could not be the mouthpiece for the 1,000 pure names of the Lord himself. So only when he lay pierced by arrows, his body broken, blood oozing out, his Atma preparing to depart, could the Sahasranama flow through him free of blemish, detached and pure. That is why it had to only be Bhishma. Only he, the greatest of men, yet humbled by his one failure, could reveal the 1,000 names of Vishnu, and only at the moment while he was on his bed of arrows. Now picture the scene. The war is over, Kurukshetra is silent, the Pandavas stand victorious, but the cost has been immense. And there lies Bhishma, impaled by arrows, waiting for the sun's northward journey, Uttarayana, his soul to depart. Yudhishthira, the crowned king, but restless with doubt, approached him and he asked him 6 questions. Who is the supreme Lord of the universe? Who is the one refuge for all? By praising whom can man be freed from fear? By worshipping whom can man be blessed? And what is the highest dharma? And by chanting what can man cross the world of sorrow and suffering? So these 6 questions are not just Yudhishthira's questions, they are our questions too. Who do I turn to when I'm afraid? What gives meaning to my life? How do I find peace when my heart is heavy? Bhishma's answers are very clear and direct. He says, chant the 1,000 names of Lord Vishnu. He is the supreme, he is the refuge, and by praising him, peace can be found. By worshipping him, blessings flow. Of all the dharmas, devotion to him is the highest. And by chanting his name, man crosses sorrows and suffering. And thus begins the Vishnu Sahasranama. Vishwam, the universe itself, Achyutam, the one who never falls or fails, Govindam, the protector of beings, and Madhusudana, the destroyer of evil. So one by one, 1,000 names, each capturing a beautiful facet of the infinite. That's why the Sahasranamam is extremely important. It is not just a hymn or a chant. It is the distilled wisdom of the Mahabharata, which is a reflection of the Vedas. So to recite it is to touch the very core of Sanatana Dharma. And more than that, it's quite practical. Life will always bring us fear, right? Grief, confusion, doubt. But the Sahasranama is like a medicine for the soul. Each name is a lamp. A few names remove a little darkness. 100 names light the path. 1,000 names will fill the heart with peace. And that's why Bhishma's last gift to us, spoken not from a throne, but from a bed of arrows, not in triumph, but in detachment. Words that carry the truth of the Vedas, whispered through us through his dying breath. So the next time you hear the Vishnu Sahasranama, remember, it is not just a hymn or a chant, it is Bhishma's final offering to humanity, a map to peace and a reminder that no matter how dark life feels, there's always a refuge. If you found this story meaningful, don't forget to share with your friends and subscribe to Curious Pri, because here we come up with a new story every week and it's your love and support that keeps me going. See you next time.